Thank you so much. Did you enjoy the match?
Yeah, it was really fun.
Oh, thanks.
A 20-year-old Filipino player just broke tennis. Not by winning, by losing. Welcome back to Baseline, where we break down what really happened behind the headlines. Wimbledon 2026 had a moment nobody planned for. Center court went completely silent. The scoreboard showed Jasmine Paolini had just beaten Alex Eala 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. Round of 16 exit. Most players would pack their bags and leave. Eala did something different. She turned toward the stands, pressed her fingers into a heart shape above her head, and the entire stadium erupted. 20,000 people on their feet for a player who just lost. That moment changed everything, and what happened next is why we're talking about this. 7 days before that heartbreak, nobody outside tennis knew who Alex Eala was. She was ranked 29th seed at Wimbledon. She was the first Filipino player, man or woman, ever to even be seeded at the Open era. Think about that. Never happened before. In a sport that's been around for centuries, this was new territory. But the second she stepped on court, something shifted. Her first match was on the outer courts, Court 12, the kind of place that holds a few thousand people, usually quiet, usually underfilled, except this time it was packed. Eala beat Renata Zarzua 6-1, 6-2, and according to broadcasters on site, that small court was acting like a semi-final. The noise, the energy, the atmosphere, it was already different. Then came the autographs. She didn't rush off. She didn't take a quick photo and disappear like most players. She stayed at the barrier and signed for hours. ABS-CBN's Dian Castillo posted footage of it. A 29th seed on a small court working the fence like she just won the trophy. People were noticing. Round 2 came. Eala beat Australia's Maya Joint after losing the first set, coming back to take it 6-2, 6-0. During her on-court interview, she mentioned it was her coach Juan Bosch's birthday. The crowd didn't just applaud, they spontaneously sang happy birthday to a Spanish coach they'd never met, to a moment that had nothing to do with tennis rankings. The affection had crossed the barrier. It wasn't just for Eala anymore. It was for her team. It was for something bigger. That's when Wimbledon itself got involved. Round 3, center court, July 4th. Eala was taking on Iga Swiatek, the defending champion, number 2 in the world. This was the moment that would either confirm the hype or end it, and Eala dismantled her 7-6, 6-2 on center court against the best player in the draw. But here's what proves how massive this had become. The highlights from that match pulled 1.22 million views on Wimbledon's official YouTube channel before Eala had even played her next round. Read that again. 1.22 million. For comparison, that was more than double the combined traffic of matches featuring Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams. Not Djokovic-level attention, not Serena-level attention. Djokovic plus Serena combined. That's the scale we're talking about. Wimbledon's official Facebook page posted her signing autographs with the caption, "Alex Eala is seen signing autographs for her ecstatic fans who just witnessed her win against world number 2 Iga Swiatek." A Grand Slam that's famous for protocol, for tradition, for doing things exactly right was now curating her fan moments. They'd adopted her. Every Filipino who whispered she'd be different when she was ranked outside the top 140, every person who defended her against accusations of tokenism, they were all watching Wimbledon publish the receipts in real time. Back home, the country went into celebration mode. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. issued a public statement calling her a true inspiration. Not a press release, a direct statement from the head of state about a round of 16 result. Watch-along parties spread across the country. This wasn't just tennis fandom. This was identity finding a place to live. Billie Jean King saw what was happening. The pioneer who built women's tennis, the woman who fought for equal prize money, posted a photograph with Eala after her win over Swiatek. Her caption was simple: "What a treat to spend some time with Alex Eala, fresh off her historic win at Wimbledon today." That post got 81,000 likes and 700 comments, a personal blessing from the person who literally built the platform Eala was standing on. And then came the Paolini match, the fourth round. Jasmine Paolini didn't show up for the atmosphere. She showed up for revenge. 4 months earlier in Dubai, Eala had destroyed her 6-1, 7-7. Now, the 2024 Wimbledon finalist, number 13 seed, one of the most experienced grass players on tour, wanted the record corrected. The heat on court was 31 degrees Celsius. Eala's second serve, when it faltered, was dropping in at 65 miles per hour. Paolini's experience showed. She took the first set 6-4. This was the moment the script could have collapsed. Young player, deep run, gracious loss, forgotten by Monday. It's a familiar pattern. Except, Eala didn't follow that script. She broke back immediately. She took the second set 6-4. Even when she lost serve at 4-3 in the decider, even when the match slipped away on back-to-back errors, the 20,000 people on center court weren't going anywhere. They hadn't come to watch a result. They'd come to watch her play. And she was playing on the biggest stage, against real pressure, against someone who belonged there. The scoreboard said Paolini won 6-3, but the moment that mattered happened after. Eala turned, pressed her fingers into a heart, and the stadium erupted. That night, she posted on Instagram, "Tough loss today, but dropping this here as a reminder to be happy about living out your dreams, even if it comes with bad days." She refused to let the scoreboard decide what her fans took home. They took home a reminder about why they showed up in the first place. But here's where this story actually gets significant. Before the Paolini match, Roger Federer was in the royal box. The greatest ambassador tennis has ever had showed up to watch a fourth-round match featuring Alex Eala. When those names start orbiting around you, you're no longer a story tennis is discovering. You're the story tennis is following. And the markets responded immediately. The Philippine Sports Commission announced the country will host a WTA event, a direct market response to the demand Eala generated. A nation with virtually no professional tennis pedigree is now on the WTA official calendar because one player redrew the map. For a diaspora numbering in the tens of millions scattered from Dubai to Los Angeles to Sydney, this is massive. A young woman from Manila is filling stadiums in a sport their country never invested in. That's not fandom. That's representation at scale. The next chapters are already scheduled. The Canadian Open next month, where Eala is projected to be seated at a WTA 1000 event for the first time. Then the US Open, where she's confirmed an exhibition match against American teenager Eva Jovic. That friendship rivalry is getting broadcasted to the largest tennis audience in the world. After the loss, someone asked Eala about her serve dropping into the 60s, about why she couldn't close the decider. She didn't deflect. She didn't make excuses. She said exactly what you need to hear from a 20-year-old trying to build something real. "My serve wasn't as good as maybe other matches, but I have days like that. Everyone has days where they don't play their best. I understand that's part of the job. I don't think I'm going to be playing the best tennis of my life every single day. I don't expect that." Then she said the sentence that's going to define her run. "Never say die and play every point like your life depends on it." Court 12 to center court. Birthday songs in Tagalog for her Spanish coach, a defending champion beaten, a president speaking from Manila, Billie Jean King on Instagram, Roger Federer in the royal box, 1.22 million views before the next match was even struck, and the heart gesture after a loss that somehow didn't feel like one. Alex Eala left Wimbledon 2026 with a round of 16 exit on her record, but she left with something no other player in that draw could claim. She was the biggest attraction of the tournament, measured not in trophies, but in traffic, in lines, in presidents, in testimony. The woman who actually lifted the Wimbledon trophy is already a footnote to this story. And that's the real question. Was Alex Eala actually the biggest story of Wimbledon 2026? Bigger than the champion? Or is that Filipino pride talking? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you've been following her since the days when telling your friends she'd matter felt like a personal argument, predict where she finishes at the US Open. This is the place where people who saw this coming celebrate being right. Subscribe to Baseline.